There's a specific kind of tired that doesn't come from not sleeping enough. It doesn't lift after a full night. It doesn't go away on vacation. It doesn't respond to supplements or earlier bedtimes or anything the wellness industry has to offer. It's the kind of tired that is there when you open your eyes in the morning before the day has asked anything of you yet. Most people carrying that kind of exhaustion have spent years trying to fix it at the symptom level. The sleep tracking, the magnesium, the cutting out caffeine, and the symptoms shift, maybe. But the tired stays. What almost no one has told them, what almost no one in the medical or wellness space is saying clearly, is that this kind of exhaustion has a specific origin, and it has nothing to do with sleep hygiene. This video is about what chronic people-pleasing does to the body over time, not emotionally, not metaphorically, physiologically, in the nervous system, in the immune system, in the gut, in the jaw, in the places where years of suppression and self-management eventually land. By the end of this, the tired you've been carrying will have a name, and a name is not a small thing. Most conversations about people-pleasing start with behavior, the automatic yes, the inability to disappoint, the constant over-giving. This one starts somewhere different. It starts with what the body is doing while all of that is happening. Because here's what most of the content on this pattern skips entirely. People-pleasing is not just a behavioral pattern. It is a nervous system state, and the nervous system doesn't distinguish between a tiger in the room and a text message from someone who needs something from you. When the body perceives a social threat, someone's disappointment, someone's disapproval, the possibility of conflict, the possibility of being needed and not delivering, it activates. The same way it activates for physical danger. Cortisol, adrenaline, the whole threat response cascade. You may know this feeling in your body without having named it. The way your jaw tightens when a certain name appears on your phone. The shallow breath before you walk into a room where someone is upset. The specific contraction in the chest before you have to say something someone won't want to hear. The stomach that goes hollow when you feel a request coming. That is not anxiety. That is a threat detection system running a scan. And here's the thing about that system. It was designed for short bursts. Activate, respond, discharge, recover. That's the normal cycle. The problem isn't that the system fires. The problem is that for someone in a chronic people-pleasing pattern, it never fully stops firing. Every interaction that might require managing someone else's feelings is a low-level activation. Every situation where disappointment is possible is a scan. Every relationship where you are the person who keeps things smooth is a sustained, low-grade state of alert. Research on the HPA axis, the body's central stress response system, consistently shows that it's not the intensity of stress that does the most damage. It's the chronicity, the never quite off. Your body is not broken. It is doing exactly what a nervous system does when it has been trained to treat other people's emotional states as threats to be managed. Here's what happens when that system runs without adequate recovery over months, over years. Cortisol, which is designed to spike briefly and then return to baseline, starts running at a flattened, dysregulated level, not high enough to feel like acute stress, low enough that it becomes invisible, but high enough to interfere with everything. Sleep architecture changes. You may be getting the hours, but the sleep isn't deep. The threat detection system doesn't fully disengage at night for someone who has spent the day managing everyone else's emotional state. The body stays partially alert, which is why you wake up tired from sleep that was technically long enough. The immune system takes the hit. Chronic cortisol dysregulation suppresses immune function over time. Not dramatically, not in a way that shows up on a single blood panel, but in a pattern. The recurring infections, the slow recovery, the autoimmune system that starts behaving erratically. The body that used to bounce back, and now doesn't quite. And then there's the gut. What if the symptoms you've been trying to fix were actually the most honest thing happening in your life? The gut-brain connection is not a metaphor. The enteric nervous system, the network of neurons lining the digestive tract, is in constant communication with the brain, and it is exquisitely sensitive to threat states. When the nervous system is running chronic low-grade activation, digestion is deprioritized. Blood flow reroutes, motility changes, the microbiome shifts, which is why people in long-term hypervigilant states so often present with IBS, with bloating, with a digestive disruption that no elimination diet has ever fully resolved. Because the source isn't what they're eating, it's the state their nervous system is in while they're eating. Now, there is a name for the survival pattern that produces all of this. It's called the Fawn response. It's the fourth stress response, alongside fight, flight, and freeze, and it describes what the nervous system learns to do when the safest option available is to appease, to manage, to become useful, to make the threat smaller by becoming exactly what it needs. It is not a personality trait. It is not a character flaw. It is a learned survival strategy, wired into the nervous system during a period when appeasement genuinely was the safest available option. And the body has been paying the cost of running that strategy ever since. This is not weakness. This is depletion. Those are not the same thing. Here's what nobody says about this. While everything in someone's external life has been managed, the feelings smoothed over, the conflicts avoided, the needs suppressed, the face that says no, it's fine, delivered convincingly enough that people believe it, the body has been doing something different. The body has not been performing. The jaw that clenches before a difficult interaction, that's not psychosomatic. That's the body refusing to pretend. The stomach that goes hollow when someone asks for one more thing, that's not an overreaction. That's the body keeping an honest record. The exhaustion that doesn't lift, that's not laziness. That's the accumulated weight of years of a nervous system that was never given permission to rest. This is the thing that lands hardest for most people when they first really hear it. The body was not betraying you. The body was the only part of the whole system that was telling the truth the entire time. While the behavior learned to say yes, the body was saying no. While the face learned to look fine, the body was logging the real account. While the voice learned to reassure, the jaw was holding everything the voice wasn't allowed to say. And for many people, understanding this for the first time produces a very specific feeling. Not just relief. Something more complicated than that. Something closer to grief. Grief. For the years, the body was sending a signal that nobody, including themselves, was trained to read. That grief is not a detour, it's actually part of the understanding. Because the body wasn't malfunctioning, it was asking, consistently, and in the only language available to it, for something that was never given, permission to not be fine. The chronic fatigue, the immune disruption, the digestive symptoms, the tension, these are not separate problems to be managed in isolation. They are coherent outputs of a coherent system, a nervous system that was trained to stay vigilant, stay useful, stay appeasing, and has been doing exactly that, without rest, for years. If this is opening something you want to begin tracking, not managing, not fixing yet, just starting to notice, there's a 30-day journal in the description built specifically for this. It's designed to help you begin catching the pattern in the body. The tension before a yes, the exhaustion after an interaction, the physical signals your nervous system has been sending that have been going unnamed. Not a protocol, just a daily practice of actually listening. The link is in the description. So, what do you do with this? Not a 5-step plan, not a healing protocol. One thing. The thing that is actually available right now at the level where this actually starts. The body has been sending signals for a long time. The jaw tightening, the chest contracting, the stomach responding before the mind has fully processed what just happened. Those signals arrive before the automatic yes. They are, in fact, the body's attempt to intervene before the fawn response fires. The single real thing. The one that doesn't require confidence or scripts or having done the inner work yet, is this. Notice the signal, not to act on it. Not yet, just to notice that something is happening in the body in the half-second before the compliance reflex runs. The jaw, the breath, the hollow feeling, the specific sensation of something inside you going very still right before you say yes to something you didn't want to say yes to. That signal is not anxiety to be managed. It is information. It is the body trying to close the gap between what is being asked and what is actually available to give. Most people in this pattern have been trained explicitly or implicitly to override that signal immediately, to push through it, to perform past it, to interpret it as something to be ashamed of, not something to be curious about. The practice is not overriding it. The practice is, for the first time, turning toward it and acknowledging that it is saying something true. This is not soft advice. This is neurologically how change actually begins. Not through willpower, not through deciding differently, but through interrupting the automatic sequence at the earliest available moment. And the earliest available moment is in the body, before the yes is already out of your mouth. One more thing before the closing. If this feels like it's all in your head, it isn't. This is in your body, specifically, measurably, in the cortisol levels, in the gut lining, in the jaw muscles, in the immune markers that functional medicine practitioners are increasingly connecting to chronic stress states. The body-mind connection is not mysticism, it is physiology. And that means what is happening is real, and it means it can be worked with. If this opens something you want to take further, the 30-day journal in the description is built for exactly this starting point. Learning to hear what the body has been trying to say. The link is also in the pinned comment. Where in your body do you feel the people-pleasing pattern most? And did you recognize it as that before today? You didn't develop these symptoms because you're weak. You didn't develop them because you haven't tried hard enough, or because you haven't found the right supplement, or because something is fundamentally wrong with your body. You developed them because your nervous system was handed a job. Keep everyone else comfortable, keep the peace, keep yourself useful. And it has been doing that job, without a break, for as long as you have been in this pattern. That is not a character flaw. That is the logical, physiological outcome of a nervous system that was trained to never fully rest. Not a flaw. An adaptation, one that made sense when it was learned, one that the body has been faithfully running ever since. What changes is not the body. What changes is the understanding of what the body has been doing, because when the fatigue has a name, when the jaw tension is recognized as a signal and not a malfunction, when the exhaustion is understood as depletion from something specific rather than evidence of personal failing, something shifts. Not overnight, not completely, but the body that has been sending the signal for years finally has someone listening. That's not the end of this. That's the beginning of something different. The nervous system that learned to never rest can, over time, learn something else. Not because you decided hard enough, because you finally understood what it was actually doing and why it made complete sense that it learned to do it. You are not starting from broken. You are starting from here. And here, for the first time, includes the whole truth.